Hi, welcome to Racehouse with me, Joe Lee.
And me, Darren Reeves.
I know. It's been a while, but we've been really busy traveling the globe and watching lots of races. And B, sadly, it's not coming home, but we are coming live to you. Look, in the aftermath of England's really good go at the World Cup, we can focus now on F1. And actually, we have a lot to catch up on, Darren. There have been so many races: Monaco, Barcelona, Austria, Silverstone, the British Grand Prix. I mean, so much action, and it's been all changed.
Joe, since we last met and did our last podcast, where there'd only been 5 races and there'd been stop, start because of the Middle East conflict, we've now had 4 races in 6 weeks. And when we last did a podcast, it was pre-Monaco, 4 races ago. And Joe, I was there.
You were there, yes.
It's true. There in Monaco, and I actually sent you a little video from the pit lane, didn't I, on the Wednesday, because I suggested that any Formula One fan should actually just get on a plane on a Wednesday morning, first flight, get EasyJet down to Nice, get the train in, 20-minute train. You can walk everywhere. You can walk all over the track. You can walk down the pit lane and just see everything being set up. And the anticipation for Monaco is electric. And I loved it, mate. And do you know what? You could then get a bit of food, get back to Nice airport and jump on the plane that evening and come back. So do it cheaply. I recommend every F1 fan to do that, because you just experience it. And then you will watch it on the television that weekend with a whole experience of walking around the hairpin, walking up Saint Devote, walking around the swimming pool and Racehouse. Monaco Grand Prix was a funny one because we had 2 red flags. And actually in the first red flag, I went from the yacht, which was by the paddock, into the Paddock Club grandstand opposite the pit lane. So I got to watch maybe the last 25 minutes from opposite the pit lane, which was brilliant for me. But the track was breaking up, Joe. We had red flag for, I think, Stroll.
Racehouse, wasn't it?
Yeah, the very final corner into Anthony Nodes. And he got onto the marbles and straight into the barriers. What's that about? It was hot. I've got to be honest with you. It was very hot. But the asphalt breaking up, I found it very odd. And then as they went green, Leclerc did exactly the same thing at the same corner. So something was very odd. Another red flag, waited for a good 20 minutes. But I got to see Kimi Antonelli take his 5th win in a row. Unprecedented. From his first win to his 5th win in 6 races was unbelievable. And mate, I was walking through the paddock on the Saturday about half an hour after quali and got the best photo ever of Kimi, literally just after his pole position. So Monaco was a great event. I also got to do a monster event with Lando, and to meet Lando, current F1 world champion, and spend a bit of time with him and Zach. For me, as a Formula One fan, was just something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I'll never get to meet Senna, or probably never Michael Schumacher either. But, to have met Lando, and I've met a few others over the years, a real bucket list thing to do, mate. So Monaco was sensational for me. All right, working on a couple of the yachts. I had production on 2 yachts there. Had another piano player out there as well, Joe. Sadly, wasn't yourself this year, but there'll be other times. So that was that. But seeing Lewis get his best result in a Ferrari second as well was brilliant, which leads me directly on to Canada, because Lewis was mega in Canada. We all thought this was going to be George Russell's chance to win again, because he's always been strong in Canada. All right. But no, George Russell came second, which was still a great result for, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. George Russell was out in Canada, wasn't he? And Lewis was second. Kimi won it. I meant Catalonia. That's it's me not reading. The Catalonia Grand Prix in Barcelona, which is going to be switching, isn't it? Alternate years moving forward. And Lewis was mega in Barcelona. Joe, I was out in Barcelona for you in 2022 and saw Charles Leclerc leading that race in a Ferrari, and he was about 20 seconds ahead and he had a mechanical failure. We're now seeing Ferrari come back with some great results, and George Russell second. But then we went to Austria, mate. I'm going to rattle through this. and we see George take the top step again, which we thought we would see beforehand. So, but we saw we're seeing suddenly Kimi get the bad luck. George was getting the bad luck earlier in the season, and Kimi was just cleaning up 5 in a row. But George has been getting some podiums and knocking those points, taking those points out of Kimi that every British fan would love to see. But we're also seeing Lewis do it as well.
Yeah.
And Lewis in taking another podium in Silverstone as well. Just amazing to see these 2 Brits push up the leaderboard. And I genuinely think now that Charles got his first win of the season, in fact, his first win in 2 years at Silverstone, which was a crazy chaotic race of safety cars and just crazy stuff going on. I think if Ferrari can get their strategy right, Joe, I think we've still got 4 cars in this title race. I know it's a long shot for Leclerc, but I see Antonelli and Russell taking points out of each other like we saw Lando and Oscar do for McLaren last season. That's how Max Verstappen managed to catch them up. That over 100-point deficit he managed to catch up in that last third of the season. Ferrari have got a decision to make. They let Charles and Lewis fight it out and try, but for the only way they've got a chance is one of them has to take on all of Mercedes. But to have seen now in the last 4 races, Kimi, Lewis, George, and Charles, all 4 of them take a race win in the last 4 races. This is what we want to see in Formula One. We don't want to see dominance. We want to see the championship go down to the wire. We want to see multiple winners. We've not seen Max win yet.
Well, no, we'll talk about Max a bit later. But no, I mean, it's look, I'm very happy for Antonelli. I think that was fantastic. It shows us what Mercedes have been doing as well to that car. Excuse me, even, putting George in the shade and lots of questions surrounding George. Well, hold on a minute. It's like back to the Lewis Bottas days. So they're both doing well. But Lewis, do you really think he can do it?
Honestly, I think you don't lose that mentality. All you lose is physicality. But I think 21st century, these guys are super fit. They're not like the gladiators of the James Hunt and Nigel Mansell world with those cars. It's a different world now. Lewis is super fit. You've got Fernando there at 45 now. I know he's at the back of the grid, but that's the car.
Yeah,
Fernando's not lost it. He's still driving the socks off that car. And Formula One's a funny one. You can have the race of your life and finish 7th or 17th. It's all about where you sit in the order of the constructors. Do I think Lewis can do it? I think if Kimi and George take points off each other, I think Lewis can do it. It's whether Charles takes points off of Lewis.
Well, yeah, and also make sure they don't crash into each other and all those old school rules. Okay, we also had Barcelona, we had Austria, we had Silverstone as well. What were your reactions to those races?
So for me, just quickly going back to Monaco to see Gasly take a podium. It was Hadjar up on the podium, but Gasly took that podium. We want to see these other cars get results. There's been so much consistency with Formula One over the last few years where all the cars are finishing the races, but we've had mechanical issues. We've seen George have mechanical issues, especially in Canada. We've seen Kimi have mechanical issues now in Silverstone and Austria. We're seeing more mechanical problems. We've seen Max have problems. We've seen, at the beginning of the season, we've seen McLaren, had 3 DNSs in the first 2 races. DNS didn't even start. It's like, what's going on? But my reaction to the races themselves, I think it's great entertainment. I just want to see different winners all the time and things unexpected. Red flags create a bit of chaos. Safety cars create a bit of chaos, and seeing somebody have a big lead eradicated because of somebody else's misfortune, crashing or car breaking down on track. We're seeing all of this in 2026 now. We weren't, we were seeing Kimi just run away with it. And for me, that doesn't make for a good championship. All right. But we've seen a lot of upgrades come through F1 over the last few races. And we've seen a lot of upgrades. And I love the 180 Macarena wing, which I think Red Bull have also taken on now from Ferrari. So they're all copying each other. We've not seen any upgrades from Aston Martin yet, but we are going to see some in Hungary. So I'm very interested.
Yeah, there's going to be a big newy upgrade package that's been
which would be aero package. But my understanding is it's the Honda engine that needs the upgrade, not necessarily the aero package. But it'll be very interesting to see if we see a change there. We're seeing the new teams in there with Cadillac and Audi. I know Audi are rebranded, but how many times can they possibly finish 11th? I think that's fascinating to see them finish so close to scoring some points consistently, right in the midfield pack. I just still feel a bit that McLaren still have a hangover from last season, and Red Bull really they weren't developing for 2026 enough, whereas Mercedes and Ferrari definitely were, and they've got it absolutely right. I just want Ferrari to make some consistently great strategic calls now for the rest of the season and not see them mess it up. And I think they have been. I think Lewis has had a massive impact on that team.
I think he has, because historically they've not been great at their strategy calls.
No.
Ferrari. I think Lewis has brought a bit of that, discipline over, and I think they now know how he works. And now they're seeing wins. They're like, actually, yeah, fine. Let's do what he wants because it's working. That might be coming down from Fred, your mate. So he could be saying, actually, look, guys, let's skip the program. We're not fixed in stone. And I always feel Ferrari had that. They were just, we're Ferrari. We do what we want. Well, it's obviously not working. So change it up. So yeah, I'm very happy to see Lewis doing really well. For the Brits, I agree with you. McLaren, I've got a hangover. I don't know what is going on over there, but they just haven't really taken to the season with these changes too well, unlike Mercedes. And someone like Alpine, who suddenly they're on the podium out of nowhere. I mean, it's class. It's absolute class.
It's what we want to see.
Yeah, and look, Red Bull really struggling. They're just a non-team at the moment, really. Max has shown class in some races. But, after Silverstone, it's been reported he's not happy at all. He is now being linked to numerous teams. I don't know where he would slot in. Aston is probably the easiest to fit in and replace Alonso. But I can't see him going to McLaren or Mercedes. But he's had a lot of talks, apparently, with Mercedes, certainly. Who would he replace? Well, I guess it would be George. So is George safe? I don't know. And, even though George has got podiums, he won, what did he win? Austria?
Yes.
That might not be enough for Toto, who, wants to get back to winning ways.
So, Joe, just to butt in there a bit, my understanding is Toto has now confirmed Russell and Antonelli for 2027.
Well, then
that's my understanding.
Would Max be interested?
Yeah, and my understanding as well is that Ferrari are confirmed as well, and I think that's absolutely sensible. So I can't see Max going to Aston Martin unless there's a massive, massive improvement over the next 6 months. Did Adrian Newey leave Red Bull because of Christian Horner, because of Max Verstappen? We don't really know.
Well, if it's a Max issue, you're right, then he won't be going to Aston. Really,
so for me, Joe, the only rumour that I've heard that is that Piastri is not happy as second driver to Lando at McLaren. And he clearly this season, Lando has been driving with a relaxed mentality as number one on the car now as world champion. He is definitely outperforming Oscar. Whereas last season they were very equal, weren't they? And Oscar was outperforming Lando for the mid part of the season. I think Mark Webber may play a part in Oscar possibly swapping with Max and going
Well,
to
I think a swap. I was just thinking that. Yeah, there could be a swap at Red Bull.
So I would say watch this space and keep an eye on what Mark Webber, as manager to Oscar Piastri, can make happen, because he obviously was a driver for Red Bull and has very, very close links with Red Bull. So I'm very interested in where that could be. But Max is definitely unhappy. And unless we start seeing him, I think he needs to win 2 or 3 races this season to actually stay there.
Yeah, all the drivers on the prowl, and it's not just the drivers; it's also the managers. I mean, we've got Christian Horner. He was there at Silverstone, wasn't he?
He was.
And a little walk around, a few little chats. What is going on there?
Well, there's rumour that he's had something to do with Alpine. But there was rumour of him actually having a stake in Alpine. The one thing that we've seen the rivalry of Toto and Christian for the last 20 years in F1, nearly 20 years. But Christian has always been jealous of Toto because Toto is a shareholder in the race team, in the Mercedes race team. Christian was only a member of staff. And if Christian can get a stake in an F1 team and take team principal role, Flavio's not going to be at Alpine forever. Flavio is a thing of the past, and he's just babysitting that seat.
Well, we hope.
But I look at the other teams like Audi and Williams. I can't see James Vowles leaving that position. So Audi would be the only other possible thought for me, or Aston Martin.
Yeah, but you're forgetting there's another option, BYD. They've had plenty of chats, and he's looking for BYD. It could be another team.
I have heard about BYD coming into Formula One, and I just don't understand why they're just not doing Formula E, because it's an electric car brand from China. I totally
watch Formula E though. That's the problem, isn't it?
But the point is, they're electric car, and why are Tesla not at Formula E? Because it is. Tesla are better than Formula E, and with the BYD brand coming in the lower end market, they should be taking on Tesla. But Formula One's never going to go electric. There's rumors of the V8 coming back for 2030 and almost scrapping this idea of this battery.
Well, for now, the cars are like half electric, aren't they?
They are 50-50 at the moment. They're reining that back a little bit because of this super clipping that happens on the straight, so they can't go flat out in qualifying. So they've done a little adjustment now, and there's talk about going 60-40 for 2027. I think that might even have gone through a FIA meeting now. But yes, not being able to go flat out in quali is rubbish. And if that's what electric brings to the experience, it's really, really not great.
It's not good. It's not good wood. But good wood.
Oh, Joe.
I've woken up. Here are the links. So Goodwood Festival of Speed. You were there as well, weren't you?
Joe, last Thursday, a week ago now, I went down to Goodwood's very near to where I live, so I know it very well. I play golf at the golf course. We've got the Goodwood race circuit where Formula One used to be, and my dad used to go and sit on the bank outside and watch the He would never pay to go in. He could climb over the fence, he said, a couple of times. But Goodwood is a wonderful place, and I also go to the horse racing there as well once or twice a year with my buddies. But Goodwood House hosts Festival of Speed and has done now for the last 20 odd years. And Lord March, who is a wonderful advocate for motorsport, he invites everybody down to his house from Formula One and the world of motorsport to drive the most wonderful cars from the history of motorsport up his drive, now known as the Hill Climb. And it's got bigger and bigger over the years. And Goodwood this year is the biggest I've ever seen it. it's wonderful that you can walk through this paddock area of tented garage after tented garage of Formula One cars from pretty much all the teams, and all their old cars lined up. So this year was all about Damon Hill. 30 years since he became world champion in 1996 in the Williams car. And for me, that's an iconic car. He took the mantle from Nigel Mansell's 1992 win. But Damon Hill in the Williams from 96 for me is iconic F1 as a Brit. And it was a celebration of his successes. Damon's a lovely, lovely guy. I've got to meet him 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
He's just a genuine English gent, just like his father, Graham Hill, was. He embodies everything that Formula One is historically, was historically and is now. But I got to walk around so many F1 cars and stick my head in the cockpits. You'd literally touch them, and there's people there, but they're happy for you to do that and take photos with them. It's the most wonderful experience. And again, I recommend every motorsport F1 fan to go to Goodwood at least once. Watching it on the television doesn't work for me for Goodwood, because it's an experience. And you can take your time and wander around everything. I got to see Kimi Antonelli on the Mercedes stand there, and again, you can do pit stops. You can queue up and do your pit stops and times and so on. He was throwing caps out to everyone and T-shirts. I got to see Pierre Gasly do a chat on the fan zone stage, where he was chatting about how his season has gone and Alpine and where they're at. So you get so close to everything, closer than you can at any F1 race. And it's all thanks to Lord March, the Duke of, I can't even remember. He's got so many titles. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Goodwood Festival of Speed is a massive recommendation for me. 20 minutes down the road for me.
It's a big old party, big old party as well. It's
massive. It's massive. And I know Lando was down there driving some sports cars and just so many F1 driving. They do Q&As up on the balcony of the house. It's just spectacular, mate. And done to an F1. I try and say to everything, try and aim to do everything in your life to an F1 standard, and you won't go far wrong. And they definitely do that down at Goodwood.
That's awesome. Well, we love a good shindig. And I know you're under lock and key with this, but I do want to ask, there was a certain driver that had a wedding. It was well documented. David Coulthard had his stag do, and he had a lot of the F1 glitterati at the wedding he had. What can you tell us about the wedding, and why were you there?
Well, obviously, Joe, you and I have spent a lot of time in the F1 circus over the last 8 years, and for me, I'll go right back to my 1992 Silverstone, seeing Nigel Mansell win, and was my first race I went to, and my first one I worked at was Monaco 2000. So we've met a lot of F1 people, but the reason that I was performing at his wedding was that he booked an ABBA tribute band. And because of my career, I've been part of Bjorn Again since 1997. Playing the role of Benny as the keyboard player. And that has led to me working in F1 and Billy Joel and Queen. And Joe, everything I've done stems from being in Bjorn Again when I auditioned for it in London. And it so happens he is married Sigrid, who is from Sweden. And for that reason, you can join the dots together now that he invited us to do an hour in his garden on Sunday afternoon. So his wedding was like this 3-day event. He has the most beautiful estate near Dumfries. I can say that bit. It's no hidden. He was born there and grew up there, and he had a wonderful party. And I got to perform, and he was great fun. And he came up and was mimicking playing the piano next to me, and everybody was just in great spirits. And it's lovely to see these people let their hair down, because I know you and I both know that David Coulthard at a Formula One event is a mean machine. He is the hardest working person at Formula One with his TV production company, producing the Channel 4 footage for Formula One each week. He is not the anchor. Steve Jones is the anchor, but he is the pundit on that as well. He is the commentator on it. He does so much as an ambassador for McLaren and Red Bull, and he's in Paddock Club talking to all the guests at Paddock Club. He literally goes out. He will be talking at events in the evening. He doesn't sleep. And I don't know how he keeps his jeans that white. And so the only thing I did say to him is, it's lovely to see you in a pair of white shorts and not a pair of white jeans for once, David. So it was a great event. And our dressing room was a little pub style bar that he's created. And his dad, 81-year-old dad, Duncan Coulthard, who lives just round the corner, in fact, he came in and just sat and had a drink with us afterwards. And I had a very, very long chat with him. He is a budding guitarist and has lots of guitars up in the bar and photos of him. And he's like, there's me with Brian May. I was like, yeah, okay. There's me with Eric Clapton. There's me. And they said, this guitar, look, there's a little note on it. And it was from Jim Core of The Cause, saying, to Duncan, best wishes, my gift to you. So I had the most wonderful time. But the one person I wanted to talk to was Dayton, David's son, who's been driving in karting for years and years. He's a year older than my son, and they've never raced together, but they've raced through the same series. My son's always a year or two behind Dayton, and Dayton is now racing GB4 this season. But I just didn't get a chance to chat to him. So and then we got whisked away. I stayed at a hotel in Glasgow and flew back Monday morning. So it was just lovely to see everybody having a nice time. A lot of the F1 contingent obviously were tied up with Goodwood as well. So I was at the garden party on the Sunday. There's one other thing as well, Joe, you'll laugh, but I've had an eye infection this week and could only wear one contact lens.
Oh, wow.
I'm blind at the best of times. So I knew who David was, but mate, I could have had loads of people out there that had I had two contact lenses in, I would have recognized.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, mate, it was just lovely to see him in a slightly different context, and good luck to him and best wishes to his new marriage.
Oh, well, congratulations to him. And coming now back to, I think, the final news we need to discuss. The war is still going on between the US and Iran and Israel.
The ceasefire seems to be very fragile, Joe, and I sort of didn't feel. Yeah, it's done. It's done.
It's off. And I just saw the news, and it's still going overnight. Still more strikes. Look, we are July now, and we've got the Qatar Abu Dhabi Grand Prix coming up end of the season. Now, they haven't made any announcements yet. Are we going to see these races on, or are we going to see another race to take the hold? Are we going to see a double Vegas, which wouldn't happen? Or would we have an autumn Silverstone? Probably not, because of weather. Can they have these golf races? Well, I would probably say no. From being in the region and knowing what it's like over there, they're not able to, I think, because people traveling, half the airlines aren't operating to those destinations, so like Dubai or Qatar. They're getting hit every day or every other day. It's not good. It's not safe. And plus, you've got insurance risks as well for the drivers, the teams, for freight, for everything. And without the Strait of Hormuz, how can you get the gear in as well? You can't fly all of it in.
That's the key to it, because of the net zero thing that Formula One have been part of since 2014. A lot of the equipment is sea freighted around the world and is done in segments of areas as well. So what should have been in Bahrain earlier in the season and Saudi may have been sat, but never even got there in the first place. So where that is, nobody knows. I am with you, Joe. I just cannot see if there's the slightest bit of unrest in the area, which I just can't see how this is going to resolve itself right now. For the risks involved, Formula One is is the biggest circus in the world for me, and to create, it's just impossible to get everything there and get people there safely and securely. And you're right, the insurance, but there just isn't an insurance policy that would cover that. In my mind,
well, war is usually not covered in insurance things, which is
force
strange.
majeure.
Force majeure, but they've been very crafted because now they know it's a known thing. So that's the problem. It's a known thing. So they're like, well, you knew there was a war going on, so that's kind of it. But so coming back to it, yeah,
Does
I don't.
Formula One need it? That's the question. Does the championship need it? At the end of the day, Joe, in the 90s, we were watching 16 races a season. Formula One and Liberty Media have increased that to 24. I have to be honest with you, mate. I almost find sometimes there's too many races. Like trying to remember what happened in Monaco and Spain when we've had Austria and Silverstone in such a short space of time, even to do the podcast. Having sprints, we've not even mentioned the sprint race that was at Silverstone that Lewis won. Lewis had pole position on. Kimi won it. There's so much going on. It's really hard to keep on it. And I feel almost too many races too many things dilute how important a Grand Prix win is. It's just bang, 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 bang all the time. And it's that instant 21st century world and generation that my kids are. That everything's on the end of an iPad. They don't have to go looking for anything. They don't have to invest time in anything. Learning the piano, Joe, which we're both pianists, takes 10 years of investment. No one's got the patience to do that anymore. They want everything bang. And I like to digest stuff. For those drivers to win a Grand Prix, literally 3 days later, they're back out again, 4 days later, practicing for the next event. They don't get to bask in the glory very long. It's diluted. Does Formula One need 24? And the answer is no. I think 20, mate, is absolutely fine for 2026.
Keep it special. But it's money. And, more races, more advertising, more sponsorship. That's how it works.
But what it doesn't need is insecurity.
Well, the golf guys have been spending a lot of money over the past 10, 15 years, whatever.
Massive.
They spent a ton of money. Abu Dhabi is an amazing race, as you know. But
yes,
yeah, we'll see. Okay. Well,
yeah, mate. We can only speculate, but my honest opinion is it's about safety of the people at Formula One and the
fans as well. The fans need to feel
the people in the grandstand. But tourism, there's a lot of people that fly in for Formula One from around the world to work there, but to watch as well. It's not just the locals that go and sit in the grandstands. Okay. And mate, all we can do is sit and watch this space and see what develops.
We will see, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Racehouse. We have a double header coming up, Belgium and Hungary. We'll be watching that intently, but we'll be back very soon for the next episode of Racehouse. But for now, it's goodbye from me, Joe Lee.
And it's goodbye from me, Darren Reeves. Take care.